So today I received a package from Stimtastic and I wanted to talk about stimming. So what is stimming anyway? Stimming is basically repetitive movements or sounds, vocalizations that people with developmental disorders such as autism or ADHD do, as well as people who have things like anxiety. Stimming is normal and healthy, and it can be a variety of things. A lot of people think of it as like hand flapping or rocking back and forth, which it certainly can be. But it can also be things a lot more subtle than that. Things like playing with stim toys, and I'll talk about those in a little bit. Or things like, squeezing your arms gently. Or even like rubbing your arms or rubbing your feet together, things like that. So, stimming is first and foremost a very normal and healthy behavior. It helps regulate emotions, it helps regulate sensory input. It is very, very healthy and beneficial. So, there's really no reason to repress stimming unless it is harming yourself or others. So, like things like hitting yourself in the head or pulling out your hair. Which reminds me, people with compulsive disorders often do stim as well to stop behaviors such as pulling out hair or picking at skin. So, in general, it's a really beneficial behavior. A common misconception about stimming is that it's actually something that only autistic people do, or that it's only something that low-functioning autistic people do, and that's not the case at all. It is something that a lot of people, even neurotypical people, do. So it's very similar to fidgeting in that it helps you focus and it helps you regulate emotions and sensory input. So let's talk about some different kinds of stimming. Stimming can be several different things. It can be things like flapping your hands, which is a physical stim, and this is specifically, a lot of times it has to do with the vestibular input, rocking as well. It can be visual, so it can be looking at things that are sparkly or glittery or moving around a lot. It can also be vocal, so it could be like making sounds or repeating phrases, which tends to be more echolalia, but it can be stimming if it's just the sound. It's not so much to communicate something. And that's sort of the difference between those. I might make a video later about echolalia, but it is different. So those are some different kinds of stimming. So let's talk about some stim toys that you might have. So a very common form of stimming is actually chewing. So you can get things that are like chewable jewelry. Like I have this necklace that's a bat. I have 2 other necklaces as well that I got from Stimtastic. They are amazing, and they are safe to put in your mouth. So like, don't put things like headphones or your clothing in your mouth. Those aren't so safe. They're just generally, you can have a lot of toxins, things that you don't want to be putting in your body. But this is amazing. So otherwise I will chew on like headphones, which ruins headphones, so not particularly helpful. Some other stim toys that I have, this is actually another thing that I got from Stimtastic. It's this wonderful soft bag, and it's not quite a stim toy per se, but it's very soft. And so it's nice to just like pet and to like rub on my face or my neck or arms or anything like that, because that's sort of a sensory input that's very calming to me and very soothing and really, really nice. Then I also have, so like for visual stimming, I also have this awesome glitter bottle. So it doesn't look like much now, but I can shake it up, and it is a beautiful, it has like black glitter and like blue and pink, and it's just really nice to watch, and it's very calming and just generally amazing to just to look at, and it's very calming, soothing. I also have this awesome like stretchy seal. I don't know that he can be seen because it's a bit bright, but he's a seal. He's cute. He stretches a lot, and then he's like very squishy and like malleable. These are quite popular on like Instagram right now, I think. And then I have a fidget cube, which is very subtle, really nice for like class, or if you're in a situation where it's not really acceptable to be making lots of noise or like doing very distracting things. Another big kind of stim is pressure stimming, so like putting pressure, like gently squeezing arms is something that I mentioned earlier, or like pressing on certain parts of your body, or having like heavy weighted objects. I also have a weighted blanket, but this is a weighted stingray that I got. He also makes like, I don't know if you can hear that, but like he makes like a sound that's like sort of like beans, not beans, like plastic rubbing together. I don't know how to explain it. It's like sand kind of rubbing together, but it's a really nice sound, and he's glittery, so he's like a little bit visual too. It's really nice, and like his tail moves. I love this. And he's a little over, or a little under half a pound rather, so he's a pretty hefty weight, I guess, for his size, but not too heavy. You don't, like, he can sit on your lap and you're not like, wow, that's quite heavy. And something that is good for both visual and also auditory stimulation is this awesome snap and click fidget, which just does so many things. The only thing about this is, like, if you're going a bit fast with it or a bit aggressively, you can pinch your fingers, but that's not too much of an issue. It's pretty good, pretty solid. And then, like, I love clicking noises. People do this, like, clicking pens as well. So I have a Jacob's Ladder toy, which makes a wonderful clicking sound. And it's also a wonderful calming visual as well. So it's wonderful. And just in general, I also tend to do things like rock, and I think that sometimes body stims, so like rocking or flapping your hands, I think that those tend to be a little less accepted in general, but I personally am a fan of a lot of them. I think that they are, you know, they're cheap because they're free and they're easy, and you can do them literally anywhere and you don't need anything extra, which is part of why I am a big proponent of people being able to do things like flap their hands in public, or like even things like vocalizations that are a bit odd, I think are very important. So in general, stimming is really, really good, and it's really good to normalize it as well, so making it sort of average and not something that's a big deal. It's just something people do. So yeah, that's kind of an overview of what stimming is. I hope you enjoyed. Have an awesome rest of your day.